I look at the impending invasion of Rafah and the attacks of Rafah, and I know, because I've seen it, I know what's going to happen. I know the casualties, and I know how much worse it's going to get. When I was in Khan Yunis a few weeks ago, I've been to over 40 different countries, doing humanitarian work, anywhere from in Africa, Asia, and South America. And what I saw in Khan Yunis were the most horrific scenes in my entire life, and I hope I never see them again. It was mostly, the majority of the patients that I treated were children, anywhere from the age of 2 to 17. I saw horrific eye and facial injuries that I've never seen before. Eyes shattered in 2 6-year-old children with shrapnel that I had to take out. Eyes with shrapnel stuck inside, facial injuries. I saw orthopedic injuries where limbs just cut off and dangling. I saw abdominal injuries that were just horrific, and it was just mass chaos. There's children on the floor, unattended to, with head trauma, people suturing patients without anesthesia on the ground. It was just mass chaos and really horrific scenes. And I know that now, with the bombing going on in Rafah and scenes of children hanging, exploded, and half their bodies cut off and hanging on a wall because they've been exploded. Those are scenes going on now, so I know exactly what my colleagues are going through right now in Rafah and in Gaza, basically. The Palestinian doctors were amazing. Their dedication and their will to resist dying and staying alive was amazing. They're very talented, but they have nothing. There was no antibiotics. There was no painkillers. On the last day I was leaving, we ran out of morphine, which is very important in a lot of orthopedic injuries. So patients were, the whole European Gaza hospital was, at the time, now it's everything I'm seeing now, and everything I saw is much worse now. But basically, it was overcrowded, about 300-400% over capacity. There was patients and bodies lying all over the hospital floor, inside and outside. They had orthopedic devices coming from their legs or their arms. They were getting infected. They're in pain because they're on the floor, so the conditions weren't very sterile. And if they survived amputation the first time, the infection would get them, because then they'd have to be amputated after. A lot of the kids that I saw, and more than 60% of the patients I saw were children. They're thin. They had no fat on them. They're starving because, as you know, Israel has had a food blockade since this war on Gaza started, and so they're all thin with no fat, starving, and they're coming in, and we didn't have enough supplies, enough gauze, enough antibiotics, enough instruments. Even the instruments are rusting to kind of deal with the mass trauma.